time I spit, I bounce back like a ricochet. Crazy hood coming back to the center stage. EFN told me
good. We back in the house. Grumpy OGs, Hannibal Heckler. Y'all know Eddie Giggs. Just Eddie Giggs today. He's Eddie Giggs today.
We're professional today.
We're super professional, and he's on a hiatus. So Eddie Giggs in the building. We got a superstar legend. This is not only our family. One of my people who I think is a super pillar in the Miami hip hop community from its infancy. Like, yes, was there people before him? I'm more than sure. From what we know, and I'm 48. This dude is a pillar.
You didn't know who this man was.
You gonna know today because you're supposed to know he is. Brimstone, my brother. Yeah. You already know.
Party people in the place to be. What up?
Yes. He's super humble. He ain't gonna show you the superstar he is. He ain't gonna show you that but this dude is a legend for us, and for you to be here, I appreciate your time. We've tried to schedule this before. You know, we all got different things, families and stuff.
I appreciate you was able to.
But you came out, you took time out, and you came talk with the OGs, and it's love.
Yeah, man. It's a blessing and honor to be with y'all, man.
Appreciate you, man. You know that. We'll get into Dash's Clay in a minute. I want to talk to you about it in a second. That's my boy. We'll get into him in a second. I want a quick question. Were you born in Miami? You
born and raised in the county of Dade.
Okay.
Brim, born, raised in Miami.
Oh,
Brimstone, bringing rhythm and multisonic turbulent overdoses near an explosion.
Woo!
Let's go.
I feel like shit because if Heckler don't stand for nothing. Shit.
You stand for a lot, my brother.
I try. That's why we do this. We just try to keep our culture running, especially Miami hip hop culture, which for us is super important. And when other people hear it, it's interesting.
Move
facts
in this city,
no doubt.
You helped it, at least get it shine, and you did a lot with us with Humble Lion.
We have to still give you a big up because you gave us our very, very, very first show, the Alliance, the All. You may have not even known it, but our first show was you.
Yeah, at the pool, it was part of the Hip Hop Challenge. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, I remember.
And we're forever grateful for that.
To the Most High be the glory, my brother.
Sir, it was a good night. We had fun. Everything was good. Everybody was safe. It was good. So that launched us to keep doing what we were doing.
Well, just to show you the reciprocal, I remember when I went to the CHP office for the first time. I saw that big picture because it has our Plant Beats logo on the back. I think I posted up on the wall.
That's it.
I called my people. I was like, "Yo, they got us up in their office, man. We live in large now. We down with CHP. What's up?"
You always down. You know that. Yeah, but that's a show.
Yeah, exactly. I remember.
That's the show. That's exactly the show.
But real quick, just to talk about Miami. So I've lived in everything south of Miami for the majority of my life. So from Perrine area to Colonial Drive, Kendall, Cutler Ridge, all of that. And just more recently, I started moving more up north.
Right. Well, we call the South. From Canton down, we all know that. The Ridge, we all say that. Perrine, Goulds, Naranja, that's the South. That's how we fuck with. Yeah.
So now when you're younger days living in the South, growing up, you was also doing a little bit of graffiti.
Absolutely. I mean, graffiti was, although it wasn't my introduction to pop culture, is the first thing I took the most agency over and ran with. So there's a lot of Miami, even this area right here. See, Miami hip hop scene was always segregated from north and south.
Yeah. Right.
So whether it was with the B-boys, the MCs, the DJs, the writers, especially writers, because there's already all this beef.
Right.
And the writing scene, writers from down here would not go up that way, and writers from there would not come down this way, unless they really had a connection.
Was that just because of respect level, or because they didn't want beef, or because they're like, we don't want to rock with y'all up there, and y'all don't rock with us down here? That's it. Like, you understand?
Graffiti is extremely territorial. That's what it's about.
Right, for sure.
But the true writer goes what's called all city, which means
all city, baby.
There's no north side. It's the whole.
There's no limit.
Nothing. That's it.
Exactly.
So eventually, those things started getting tied up, but hip hop in Miami was extremely segregated in every element from north to the south. For sure.
It's super true. We know
that wave was like that when we was trying to record and do shit.
Yeah, no, we felt it.
Yeah.
But if you were an MC from South, we was in the studio like it was nothing. You were in our studio, it was all good. It was all love. But the north. Here's one thing we've always said.
That's hip hop though, right?
It's always had that. That's a Miami. I don't say Miami. It's a South Florida thing. Is no one helps each other. Everyone's always thinks they're the best. They'll big you up, but they won't say, "Can we help you?" or "Do you need our help?" or "Can I?" No, it's just, "Yeah, you're cool." But no one's helping each other. You know, with that era, the '90 era, that's how we grew up. Like everyone just did for themselves. You know, it was really weird. So we were trying to break that. Now in this day and time, you know, we're the older heads now, but that's why like Paul does the Miami meets Miami. We get the younger crowd and let them know, listen, you got to politic, you got to work with everybody. You're from Miami, you're from Broward, you're West Palm. Y'all can lock down three counties right there ASAP. You understand? So I know you get the picture. We're just trying to let them realize that, because we were stubborn too. CHP was stubborn too. You know, we loved helping people. But if you ask us, we need help. No, we're good. We'll do it ourselves. We cool. You know what I'm saying? We got in-house producers. We got our own studio. We cool. Oh, but you want to use our studio? Like acting like you need us, right? I'm not saying that was our goal, but I see it like that kind of now. And it's cool, you know, we moved how we moved, but I think that needs to change. If everyone would just unite, we would be probably more like Texas, where they put each other on, you know what I'm saying? Like, or Georgia or something like that. But regardless, Brimstone, how'd you get the name?
So that's a long story. I'll try and keep it as short as possible. So my graffiti teacher, his name was Dunn. I met him at Arvida Junior High School. And so he gave me my graffiti. I mean, when I say teacher, it's very different than what a graffiti teacher is now. Right. Meaning this, we're in it was junior high. It wasn't no middle school business. So I see him. This is '87. or '88. I see him catching some real ill tags. And I know because of Beat Street, I know because I was already in love with hip hop, I knew what real graffiti was. Right. I knew he was a real writer. I knew what real writing looked like in the neighborhood from the toys. But there was something, he was the real thing. Thanks. So I said to him, yo, you write? He said, nah, man, but my brother does. So I was like, okay, this is how our relationship started out. Eventually, we became really, really close. He would tell me I was like a lost puppy just following him around. It's because I found the real hip hop thing. I found it, clinged on to him. So he gave me, the first tag he gave me was Hayes 9. It ended up, there's already a famous
How old
Hayes.
were you in this time?
This must have been 13. 12, 13, 14, probably 13 or 14 at the tops.
Okay.
So he gives me the tag Hayes 9. It works for a little bit. Realize there's another writer named Hayes, a famous writer out of New York. And so he gave me the tag Brim. And so I start writing Brim. That's when I start moving around and start catching a little bit of fame, you know, in the graffiti world. And then one day we're watching the movie Style Wars. I hadn't seen Style Wars until late 80s. It came out in 82. And I see this huge Brim piece come across the street. And then I found out there was, Brim from Task Crew. He's down with Boogie Down Productions. I was like, oh, man, I can't write Brim. So let me go ahead and put the 127, which is the street I grew up on, because that's a very much, graffiti thing. You take your street number, now I'm Brim 127. I was running with that for a while. And then one day I just felt like a voice came from heaven and said, you're not Brim 127 anymore, you're Brimstone. But then a TV show came out called Brimstone, so I said, okay, I'm Brimstone 127, shut it down, locked in, you know what I mean?
So that's like the internet trying to find a handle. You know what I mean? That's awesome.
So that whole process was probably from about 89 to about 96, 97, when I was officially Brimstone 127.
Just dope.
Now you use more of just like Obama, like you just tagged up and did throw-ups, or you did peace and...
So I started out as just bombing. That's how all real writers start, is just bombing. If you just go to a wall and start piecing, you haven't had the experience of a writer. We had to rack our paint, which means steal it, right? We had to, we have all sorts of scams to get our paint. But when we started bombing is when one of the homies would get a driver's license. So that was it. We're sneaking out. We used to go out on bikes first though, meet at a corner and start doing our work. But when we would start bombing, we would just say, okay, we're going down 88th Street all the way from Dayland Mall all the way to 157th, and we're just going. So we would just go main streets at a time. We'd same thing with the Turnpike, same thing with I-95. So what happened? Dunn, the same brother that raised me in hip hop, he also introduced me to Red Alert. He just changed my world, man. But so Dunn. He was part of a crew called AIM, which was like Miami's top graffiti crew of the South. It's different from the North. North has something totally different going on. But AIM crew eventually they formed a conglomerate called STV. It was a crew from New York where they said, hey, we're going to take AIM crew, FA. These are all South Miami crews from the 80s. AIM, FA, RA, and then WBB, which was more from the beach. And then a crew named Bomb Crew. So those 5 crews became under the umbrella STV, which stood for Specialized to Vandalize. Eventually, they said, yo, and me and this guy named Much were the only two members in that crew that didn't belong to any of the other crews. So one day, Dunn and Seal come to my house and like, yo, I want you to smoke a blunt with me. I hadn't smoked any weed yet, and that wasn't my thing at that time. Said, I want you to smoke a blunt with me so you could be down with TBK. That was the Blunt Kings. Inside AIM crew, you had these little pockets like this. Like,
shit.
yo, I'm not going to put you in AIM, but you could be down with us over here. So I said, no, I'm not going to smoke a blunt. They said, yo, you're not going to smoke a blunt? I'm giving you STV crew. And that's when STV crew was given to me. That was in 1990. The first person I put down in STV crew was Rage. I don't know if y'all know who Rage is or not.
I've seen it. I don't know them by face.
He was so ill, they started a graffiti program called Residents Against Graffiti Everywhere. And because of him, they took his name. You know, he was like one of Kendall's top killers in the graffiti game. I put him down. I put a lot of people down, but the two that I'm most like proud of working with in that capacity was Twice.
I was just about to ask you.
Yeah, and a brother named GS or GAs. Those are the two. Now I put down a lot of people with the crew, but I put them down because I knew there was like a future vision for the crew and things I needed to go because I had other things I wanted to accomplish. Once I was done with graffiti, I wanted to get into some other things.
Right, of course. The reason why I was going to ask is anyone who if you just had your eyes open while you drove in the 90s, you saw the word Twice. It was everywhere. Infamous, you know. And I had never seen his face, which is what they want, you know. Until he got arrested. That's the only time that I saw him, and I was already old. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always found that so dope. It was so mysterious, and I'm like, who is this motherfucker? You know? And I know he's passed by me in one of them ranch parties or something.
He would be at all the jams. This is my best friend. Me and him were like, we just rolled.
Those days were so dope, dude.
Yeah.
Those days were so fucking dope.
Yeah.
Those days were fucking dope.
Yeah, man.
Those were some good days, man. I'm like, I've always been fucking like, Twice always killed me. I'm like, who is this dude?
Yeah. I dabbled, tagged out.
Yeah.
Young, like 14, 15. And I never got into peace and dark because I wasn't really that nice.
No.
So when they gave me STV, we were still really just bombers, Specialized to Vandalize. When I say bombing, throw ups, get ups, all that.
Right.
But eventually, I wanted us to start piecing. So we actually did our first STV piece. It was right by our Vita, right up the road over there. And it was like a Merry Christmas. We did this character, and then we just started doing pieces as much as we could and got pretty good with it. I felt like, and these cats were cats that are bombers. So the mentality is more of a bombing mentality, but now they're piecing. So we're going to piece in dangerous spots and, the most famed places you can think of. But that's what I love, STV to this day, they're still, so it's over 30 years active. It's the longest running graffiti crew that's still active. There's crews before STV, plenty of them. There's crews after. But STV is still actively out there painting. Legally, illegally, running businesses, the whole nine. Yeah. So I really give them props for that.
30 years. That's sounds like our anniversary.
I just got to give, talking about graffiti, I got to give big up to Red. She's killing it.
Yeah, man. Red's definitely.
She's ill. She's hanging from buildings.
She's illmatic, man.
Absolutely.
Like, this is another level.
Yeah, man.
And in this day and time, it was super dope. I like that a lot.
Keep that art form.
Yeah.
That for us, hip hop alive.
Yeah. So you said that wasn't your first element of hip hop that you grasped onto. What was?
B-boying. So when I saw,
I think me too. That had to be my first one.
Yeah, it's a little fuzzy, but I know around the time of Beat Street, and I was in 5th grade, and that's when we all started breaking. That's when we all were listening to Egyptian Lover, African Bambaataa, UTFO.
Yes,
I remember the Beastie Boys a little later on, LL Cool J. All that. That was the soundtrack of our b-boying. Right. Jelly Bean, What Up Ski. We were breaking to all the electro breaks back then. When I say breaks, I mean like the original joints.
Yeah, thanks.
And my first real introduction to it was the break-in.
Right.
But I was young. I was between like the ages of 10 and 13. Probably like 10 and 12. That's when I was breaking. I knew graffiti was an important part of hip hop culture, and that's what I loved about Beat Street. Although it was the Hollywood version, they showed you the MCs, the B-boys, the DJs, the writers, all belong together. Right. And
who, I'm trying to remember who it was. I didn't want to cut you off. No, who was that told us that when we interviewed that the writing actually came? It came from it wasn't the original thing of hip hop, and it came from some other. And that's what formed one of the elements. But like you said, they just came together. Yeah, but I forgot who it was that broke that down to us.
Grandmaster Flash, no.
No. Someone we talked to, he told us that it went back to that wasn't the original one. It had came from another genre. I don't know if it was from punk or something, whatever. And then, it just was one of the elements that came together with everything else to form hip hop.
A lot of the writers back then were into, when I say like in the 70s, early 70s
right.
in New York, they were a lot into acid and rock music and stuff like that. It wasn't part of hip hop culture like the picture's been painted.
Right.
It was Bambaata's idea, who said, from what I understand, let's
to bring
put
it
all
in.
these elements together under one roof.
Can you please break it down? You have a question for? We might as well fit it in now.
This is a question that
He knows.
he's gonna fly by it real quick. So we're gonna keep teaching and keep so that people can say, "Yeah, well, I never heard it." We've been doing it already on the show for a long time. So all you got to do is play it. 5 elements of hip hop.
All right. So the first 4 artistic elements of hip hop
Correct.
are MCing, DJing, b-boying, and graffiti, or writing, style
Yes.
writing.
Right.
The 5th element is knowledge, wisdom, and understanding.
Right.
All that's according to Zulu Nation. Then you have 9 elements according to the Temple of Hip Hop, where they have these 5. Then they have street entrepreneurship, street fashion, street business, street language. So you have those 9, and I think they
You gotta
even.
throw
I don't
in
even think
beatboxing.
beatboxing. Maybe beatboxing. I
Because
added
if
one
I'm
on.
not wrong,
One may be beatboxing. I may have
From
added something.
I think it was Searcher told us that too. One of them said that,
Searcher
or it was
said-
Crazy Legs who said that on Drink Chance. I think it was one of the two said that one of the original elements was beatboxing. That was the 5th element. Africa Bambaataa changed it to knowledge, and that's why it's knowledge.
I mean, beatboxing existed before the DJs. We've been beatboxing since
How else did you
our
have the
primal-
music? Right.
That's our primal instinct. to make
Facts.
sounds, you know?
That's what, one of them broke it down like that, so that, it could have been too. After he changed it, and now it's knowledge. Listen, we've asked a lot of people that question, and the younger generation, not only do they not know many of the elements, but that 5th element nobody knows, right? But what they say really isn't 100% wrong when you just threw in those other 4 elements, because they've said fashion, remember? Yeah, one said beatboxing.
They're right on.
They're not wrong.
But they just don't have.
They just don't know knowledge.
Full.
Right, because to me, how can you take away knowledge? If you don't have knowledge of any of this, how could you learn any of it? You know what I mean? You need to have knowledge of it. You can't just do it. But so the answers are hilarious. When we put out that montage, you'll see it. These answers are ridiculous. They're beautiful.
It's cute.
I love it. The state of, I want to ask one more thing though, because when I think of you of being in hip hop, like you're like a KRS-One to me, if that makes sense, right? So I feel like your view on hip hop may be different than my view or his or everyone else's. We all have different views, but I just feel like yours might be a totally different one. So like the state of hip hop today, and what is your view on it? On and when I say that, we grew up in such an original era where if there was 60 groups, there was 60 different sounds. Now there's 60 groups, there's 3 sounds. Like what that's my opinion. I don't know.
I think the state of hip hop going forward needs to have a therapeutic component to it, because we spent 50 years destroying ourselves. How can we use these? Not everybody, but when you look at the culture on a whole and you look what's happened to people and their lifestyle, a lot of it's been destructive.
Right.
The narrative. So what can we do now going forward, the next 50 years, that's about healing? So what I want to see happen is people use their gifts and talents to help other people, right? Because we've done so much trying to harm, we've done so much harming each other with poison, constantly. No balance in the pop world. On the underground, you can always find good, healthy stuff all the time.
Thanks.
What they're shoving down our throats constantly.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's death, like just poison. So how do we detox?
Right.
So that's what we do at Path, is we figured out ways to take hip hop culture and use it to heal, rather than just like it's definitely expressive. It's the most expressive thing of our generation, of this generation after us. It's the language we all speak. It's how we dress.
Yeah.
See, we did it consciously. They didn't do it consciously. They were born into it.
Right.
We chose to be hip hop. They just are hip hop because that's what it is now. every commercial, every beat you hear on an advertisement.
We talked about that yesterday.
But we that wasn't our experience. We had to like seek each other out.
Yeah, we were hip hop before the word hip hop.
Yes.
Right.
Now they're hip hop without knowing they're even hip hop. Every shirt you see somebody wearing, it doesn't matter what kind of shirt. It could be a rock shirt. It's still got some like graffiti style flair.
Every commercial on TV got a hip hop beat in the back. A little white boy rapping. It's everything.
There it is.
We
so
know.
That's why I feel like, and another place where I think hip hop can really expand is in theater. It really can expand. We, at Path, I've done about 15 years or more of hip hop theater, and it's such a different mindset than any of this other stuff that's going on.
Because you keep saying Path, and that's what we wanted to get into. I want everyone to know what you do, what Path represents, what it does for people, what it is, how long it's been around.
From you bombing to what you're doing now.
Right,
yeah, so
which is fantastic.
Do you want to kind of walk it real quick through and get to Path, or just talk about what Path is?
Whatever you want to do.
So, like I mentioned, I started as a b-boy in the early 80s.
Right.
Late 80s, I got into graffiti. I want to talk about Killian Senior High real quick.
Right.
Killian Senior High, 1989, when not Yo Bummer's the show. It Takes a Nation of Millions to drop. That was the soundtrack to the school year.
Oof.
There were only two crews in the entire school. There was our crew, Plan B, and a crew called School Days.
I know both of them.
Plan B was me, Trek, whose name was Oski back then, and a brother named Sweet Pea. School Days was B Dope, Sim E, and D Rhythm.
Thanks.
They had a DJ named DJ Epps.
Yep.
We had a DJ named DJ Rook. We were the only two hip hop crews in the entire school. So we had our dancers, female and male dancers. They had their dancers. So I'm not gonna say every day. That'd be an exaggeration.
Right? Simeon.
Sim E. Yeah, Simeon.
I mean, the dancers, right? Yeah.
No, Simeon was an MC.
I know, but didn't one of his brother dance or something like that? I forgot.
His brother had something to do with the source. That's what I remember about his brother.
Go ahead. I'll get the story. I know B Dope told me this story the same, but go ahead.
So we always had we were all cool with each other in each other's classes, but there was always some competition, and their dancers would battle us, or we would all be rhyming in a cipher.
It's awesome.
But I'm telling you, brother, we were the only crews in Killian at that time. Now, graffiti-wise, this is when STV was blowing hard. So from what I was told, Miami-Dade County Police said there was more graffiti writers in Killian Senior High in 1992 than any other high school. I can't confirm that. That's just what I was told.
Right.
So from there, we went on and started, through the STV thing, I started working more on music. I had a cousin named Jeff who was a brilliant businessman. He's the one that founded the zoo. But Jeff, he knew I wanted to rhyme, so he got behind me. He got a sampler. He was just a mastermind. We started networking. I had a brother named Dion. I don't know if you guys know brother Dion. But Dion was really the brain behind Plan B. He was kind of like a manager. He was everything. And Dion was already the cat that had toured. And he would show up to school in a limo. He was from Perrine. The females loved him. The dudes would want to whoop his ass every day because he was that fly. He would always be battling last straws dance. So, it was like this always back and forth thing. Man. But Dion eventually got real serious with me and kind of taught me how to make music, how to make beats and all that. So we started rhyming together under Plan B. Ended up just becoming me and Dion after a time. Then we became Plan Beats with Brass King, and we had Soul Child, may he rest in peace, and we had Mr. Bond. We became like a collective crew. Right. From there, eventually, things happened with crews. I went on my own way and started working on my own music privately, as Brimstone. Yeah. Learned a lot there. Learned a lot about production, sound engineering. I want to big up Curtis at Demo World. Y'all know Demo World?
I've heard
in Richmond Heights. You know Demo World? This is where this is Richmond Heights in the early 90s. Curtis built a recording studio with his bare hands in his backyard. I'm talking laid the foundation. He wasn't even 18. Laid the foundation, ran electricity, and built a recording studio in Richmond Heights. Damn. This is where Trick and all them would go record back in the day. But Curtis, once I was out of my Plan B studio environment and I didn't have any gear or anything, he welcomed me in, said, yo, sit in there. And he would just leave me in the studio for hours. And I'll be stuck like, man, why can't I get this mic to work? He'll walk in, he's like, what's going on? I can't get the mic to work. He'll go like this, and then just leave again. Yeah. I'm talking 3-hour kind of vibes, but that's how I learned. Yeah. So I took all of that knowledge, and eventually I was invited to be a sound engineer at a place called Power Studios in 2000. Power, you ever heard of Power Studios?
Yeah.
Okay, so I knew nothing about live sound engineering, but I hustled my way in. I just hustled a job. I knew something about sound engineering in the studio and in little settings. You know, we turn the mic on live and go, but not guitar and bass and all that. Somehow, by the grace of God, I was able to hustle that job and keep it. I had no idea what I was doing, and I learned on the job. Matter of fact, one of the engineers that worked there came to me and said, look, I know you're full of shit. I know you have no idea what you're doing, but I'm going to teach you because I like you. One of them vibes. So he really taught me how to engineer.
That's dope.
From there, I went to SAE, School of Audio Engineering, and started teaching at SAE. That was in like 2001 to 2003. And maybe even a little later than that. Oh, actually a lot later than that. Also, at SAE, they allowed me to teach like a hip hop curriculum. So I was showing movies. You went to SAE?
No, I've been there a couple times.
Okay. So I mean,
my friends, free studio time.
Yeah, exactly. So I was teaching there, and at the same time, still working on my personal career. And eventually, I met KRS-One, and I came to, and at the same time, so I also my whole life kind of travels spiritually as well. I have a spiritual thing going on while a physical thing is going on.
Right.
Even in those days where I'm there breaking as a young kid, I'm at the synagogue. As a Jew, I was born into Judaism, but my thing has changed since then. But it's always part of it. And so at this one point, I had accepted Christ as the Messiah. And I met this brother named Pastor Sergio. The same time now I'm working with Chris. I was working with Chris on a very regular basis. Pastor Sergio asked me, he said, yo, do you want to, he said, I want you to be my disciple. I didn't even know what that meant. I just knew I had recently accepted Christ and it felt right and all this kind of stuff. I want you to be my disciple. I was like, I don't know what that means. It's the same week KRS tells me he wants me to run the Temple of Hip Hop in South Florida. This is probably like 2003, 2004, something like that. Maybe a little later. So I pray about it and I have this dream. And in the dream, check this out. This is where it gets real crazy. In the dream, I'm on this like green grass light, and this brother Pastor Sergio is praying over people, and they're falling out, and they're just like, you ever seen on the TV how they're falling out?
They touch you and they fall out.
All that crazy, and I'm seeing.
You saw that live?
No, I'm seeing this in a dream.
Oh,
in my dream, I'm seeing this happen. But then there's this escalator going up, and I hear like the Jungle Brothers, like some boom bap coming. Like just real, and I'm looking here, like these guys look like they're all right. Let me see what's going on up here. And the beat is getting harder and stronger, and the place is rocking. And as soon as I reach, it's totally empty. There's not a soul in there, just like an empty sound system. And God was like, yo, I need you to go where no one else is. So that's why he gave me Path. You understand? So with that, I started working with Chris even more closely, and through Path, so to bring it all full circle, in 2008, I was invited to Miami Light Project to talk about. They wanted me to do some DJ lessons at Motivational Edge, which is a youth program. Yeah. And when I went there, she pitched, Beth Boone. Thank you, God, for her. She's an amazing sister. Beth Boone goes and pitches to me as DJ. I was like, that's cool. I said, well, what do you think about a hip hop summer program? She's like, yo, that's something that could really work. This was in December. So we had that discussion. She went and got the funding for me. And in 2000, so that would have been 2008, we had our first Path Hip Hop Summer Academy.
That's dope.
Garcia was my first choice for an MC. He wasn't available to do it. I ended up having, so Soulflower was our MC instructor. The graffiti instructor was Crave. The B-boy B-girl instructor was Beta Rocks. And we had DJing was Immortal, Scratch Academy. Dope. So the first year we had like 20-something heads, and they were real hip-hop heads. I had cats that when we were riding through Wynwood, because we would meet at Miami Light Project, and we'd have to drive to wherever they would learn, right? Yeah. On our way to Crazy, like, look, Grim, I got up over there in that pole, look. I was like, y'all can't be telling me that stuff. Like, chill. Nice. But, it's real graffiti writers, real B-boys, MCs. It's dope. That was amazing. So just the Path Hip Hop Summer Academy in its first year, that started growing into more like a year-round program where we were doing Say No to Drug rallies and all those kind of things at middle schools and high schools. And for me, what I did was I stepped back from the MC perspective because I had MC'd for so long. I took my place as a DJ because I found two MCs that I felt like, y'all do this, you do it better than me. You say exactly what I say, but better than me. I want y'all to be my MCs. So it was a brother named Doyen Sekajipo and another brother named LaGuardia. Do you know either of them?
I think I heard of LaGuardia, though.
These cats were and they were nice for what we were doing, like going into the schools and positive and rocking and crowd was amazing performers, very talented brothers. So, we went around doing those tours for a few years, and each year kept building up the Summer Academy more and our programs throughout the year more.
Dope.
And that's where we landed. One of the biggest, though, this is where I talk healing. This is where healing comes in. In 2010 was our first, my wife joined Path in 2009. And so in 2010, we get a phone call from a treatment center in Delray, right? I don't know anything about drug treatment. They say, hey, are you interested in doing some hip hop classes here? It's like, well, yeah, what is that? Yeah, just come teach hip hop. I had no idea what that meant. I didn't know what a treatment center was.
Right.
I roll up, my day one, I'm sitting down. I have a whole hip hop history and philosophy PowerPoint ready to rock, totally with it. Everybody's excited. It's just me and a man from Iowa who's like in his 60s. I'm like, what is this man? I start going through a slide or two. I'm like, this man don't want to know nothing about hip hop. Like, what's going on here? So I just sat down and said, yo, what's up with you? Like, talk to me about you. What are you going through? And it ended up being, it's not so much about hip hop being in the classroom, but the hip hopper being in the classroom. Right. Having the skills, the knowledge, the understanding of hip hop to then translate to people in that regard. Now, eventually the crowd got younger, and I can have people all age groups in those group settings, and everyone can relate, but I'm 100% coming from the hip hop background. With that said, in 2000, so we started that in 2010. 2015, we pitched Sober Studios, which is a recording studio inside treatment centers. They loved it. We built the first Sober Studio in Delray. It went extremely well, one of the most popular groups. So I'm in there making a beat on the fly. They get in, they write, they produce a rhyme, we record, we mix, we're done. We do it all in 3 hours because these are people that they may not ever come again. Like they're coming in and going. That did so well, we built another one in Arizona. We built 2 more in Washington State, and now I have another one in West Palm, which is the one I work out of currently.
That's dope.
So again, and all I'm doing is straight hip hop beats, boom bap, because that's what I know how to do. Y'all just gotta work with it. And they never ever say, oh, you give me something like, nah, man, just work with it. And it's people from all over the world that can rhyme. And it's white lady in her 50s or 60s, black brother who's 19, and they're all on the same track. You know what I'm saying? So that just shows the power of hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope.
So that's to me, we're kind of, that's not the pinnacle, but that's the direction where the Most High is giving me to say, this is your avenue where I want you right now. You know? That's
hard. That's good. And
hip hop alive.
Facts. And it's funny, the reason why I brought up Dash's Clay, because like I was telling you that we had interviewed him and big him up. That's my boy. He's doing his thing.
He's doing his thing. He's a good MC.
He has good visuals, good lyrics. I think he's doing his thing. But it was just funny when we asked him the 5 elements of hip hop, and he was like, he had brought up that that you were his teacher, and SAM, we were like, what? You just said Brim was your teacher? We gotta talk to Brim. This is bullshit. I was gonna text you from the show. And you don't know the 5 elements? We went hard. It's just like,
you're right. I'm responsible. He should know that. Any youth that has ever been through our program, if you ask them that and they don't know it, I gotta take full responsibility.
I hear you. Why you say you have to do that, but I'm still gonna blame them. Even though I understand what you're saying.
Everybody's individual.
I'm still gonna blame him.
Find that, there you go. But he's
taking accountability because he's a gentleman. He's mannered. What I'm trying to say is this, though. Come on, guys. Do a little homework. If this is your craft, this is what you want to do. Do a little homework. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure you know where you're coming from before you think you want to dive into this. Well, find out what it's about first. I mean, that's what I would have done, young or old. You know what I'm saying? So
I know. I hear you. I don't think this generation knows that collectively it all belongs together. Like if I'm an MC, a brand new MC, I may go and study the craft of MCing. I would have no idea because none of these MCs right now are pointing me to saying, yo, hip hop culture is the 5 elements and this.
Right.
No, none of the MCs are talking about that.
Right.
The difference to me between a rapper and MC is this. The rapper just raps about whatever they want. The MC raps about hip hop culture. That's how you know the difference. Because they're informing you about the culture. Right. Otherwise, they're not an MC. Now, I'm not saying like Mos Def may have great rap records, but he's also an MC as an example, right? Of course. It doesn't mean every single record has to be about hip hop culture.
Correct.
But you are representing the culture that you could tell by your vibe. We just know. Your album cover has a tag on it. Like cats are not clueless. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And street art now is bigger than ever before.
Because of the internet. Now everyone can see it. You thought no one but the people in your little vicinity knew about the art that was right there on that one wall. But now that someone took a picture of that wall, put it on the internet, and now people in Germany see it, and it's crazy how many people see it now. It's just the internet's crazy. That's why we don't say it's like there's no really like. Remember back in the days, New York had its own style, the South had its own style, Miami had style. Not anymore. Everyone looks the same in every city. It's real freaking crazy. Except for there's a couple exceptions to the rules. I'm talking about majority. And I hate that. It's like, I just feel like there's no originality no more. It's just like one identity. Like they wanted the whole world to be the same. And look, be careful what you ask for. It's almost here.
Yeah.
I don't even want to go into a gloomy spot. Quickly. Another dude that came from you, he bigs you up all the time. He be DJing with us all the time. He DJ'd at our 30-year anniversary. So DJ CeeLo.
Oh yeah.
The kid's the man. We went to school with his mom. Like that's how long I've known them. You know what I'm saying? She went to Sunset with us. I know his mom.
He was a Pat student that used to hate being there. And see,
really?
he came for graffiti, I think, but he would always try to sneak out. I was like, yo. But he really got his grind on. I'm so proud of him, man.
I think he's doing his thing.
Yeah.
He's doing a lot of gigs and he's doing his thing. That's my boy, DJ CeeLo.
I don't know. Go ahead.
No, hit me.
I don't know if y'all know this. You know I recorded Garcia's first demo?
No, I didn't even know that.
I recorded Garcia's first in my studio. Plant Studio. It was probably 1994.
He wasn't Garcia. He was Severe.
He was Severe. Yeah. Mikey Severe, right? He was Severe.
Don't tell me he said Mikey Severe.
That's what I remember him as.
Oh, I know. I hope so I can text him right now.
No disrespect, my brother.
It's Mikey Severe. Write that down.
He went to Checkpoint.
I'll talk to him about that later.
He got a Plan Beats flyer. And he called me and I recorded his first demo that he recorded. That's dope. SLP, Gold from SLP, I recorded his first demo.
Big up SLP.
Love Streetlight Poets.
Love them, my brothers.
Cats. So, there's been so many gems and so many opportunities to be involved in this scene, but it's what can we do now to make it go further? Like what y'all are doing, archiving is it's such an important part. That's why hip hop is able to grow is because of the archives. Nice. The reason why graffiti got to where it was is because of its archives. Books like Subway Art, Spray Can Art. We got to look all around the world. I learned how to photograph graffiti by looking at a graffiti book. Right? Oh, you take a picture of the character, you take a picture of the whole card, a picture of each individual piece. We learned that's archiving. What y'all are doing is archiving. I feel like the last 10 years or so, people have really moved in on archiving. So PATH stands for Preserving, Archiving, Teaching Hip Hop. And it's good. I feel like people have to kind of find their lane and stay in that lane. I was listening to the Grandmaster Flash Drink Champs joint. Right. And Flash was talking about, Nori asked him if you would DJ a 21-year-old or younger event, what records would you play? He said, I wouldn't DJ that event. Like they wouldn't understand. I have my lane and that's where I want to stay. And the thing is, we have to know where our roles are to play so we can serve people in the best ways possible.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because even if the youth, like let's say, want to find out what it is or what it was, that type of music, and you're still alive, so you got to capture that because they want to see you and learn that. Well, my pops learned already when he was there when you was first coming out. Yeah. Now I get to see you and enjoy this, and like you gotta stay in your lane.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna come to you regardless.
No doubt.
But and if anybody from this generation, what do you listen to nowadays?
I listen
hip hop wise. I'm saying.
Well, to me, this is absolute hip hop. I listen to a lot of lo-fi, tons of lo-fi, because I can work all day long with it. If I have vocals going on, I can't concentrate. Lo-fi, I could just press play. I could do a 12-hour day with lo-fi and won't even notice it. So that's really what I listen to. It's like meditation, hip hop, all day long. It keeps me cool the whole day. Yeah. And I don't listen to new rap music at all, but I do run music therapy sessions, and so I hear a lot of new rap music. I'll tell you who I do appreciate. Every time they touch the mic, I appreciate J. Cole. I can't say I know a ton of his music, but I really appreciate J. Cole. I really appreciate Kendrick. And even Mac Miller has some joints. I'm like, you got some good joints.
R.I.P.
You got some real. And see, this is coming from a place of people that are struggling with addiction. Right. So these are the songs that touch them. So I'm like, so it's usually songs with depth, So I don't really listen to new cats too much at all, You
ain't missing too much, but
you said a good lineup.
Yeah, that's a good. it's a good place to start, because those are my top two for and I'm already past the J. Cole and Kendrick, because they've already been on top. And there's a lot of newer dudes who are out right now. Not what they're feeding us. You have to go searching for them, but they're there. Trust me, because I've heard some cats and I'm like, yo, who the hell is that? And then he's a new cat, and I'm like, you know, it's good. It's refreshing to hear someone new spitting something that never necessarily sounds like the '90s. It just sounds lyrical and sounds dope.
Yeah,
and it's refreshing, and that just proves to you that hip hop is not dead. I made one song in the past 10 years, and that was because Shotty dropped an album every 7 minutes, so I had to spit something, you know. So
no doubt.
Yeah, Shotty's killing me over here. Fucking
kidding. You've got to run. You got to run. You've got to run.
Yeah, there's dudes out there, though. You know what I'm saying? This kid's spitting out there, man, and you know, and then when you get groups like Griselda coming, you know, showing this generation how, for me, how it should be done. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not just the beats either. You know what I'm saying? It's just the way they're putting their lyrics together. It's just awesome. It's just refreshing to get some of that. You know what I'm saying?
Any MC that has hip hop culture in them, you can tell when they rhyme whether they mention hip hop or not. You could just tell. You know that person was raised in the tradition. You could just tell. Because we grew up in the original artifact. We could always spot someone, a sucker. That's not really their culture, right? And they're doing something else. But we also know how to tell, that's a real MC.
The best way to tell is when they come on stage and they do it live, and they're just rhyming over their own beat, but they're not even rhyming. They're just doing every fifth word. They're Flavor Flav now. They're hype men to their own music. And it's ridiculous, brother.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. You want to show something? I follow. In all of my years of going to concerts, I've fallen in love with artists more when I see him in person. Like I like his album; it's pretty dope. Then you see, or it's subpar to me, and then I see him live. Never mind. This is one of my favorite artists, because their show is so good. That for me, that counts as everything.
That's what you should try to aim for.
Yes, you win. You win a lot of fans with your live show.
I don't understand why you don't do that.
They don't even try. Well, the reason why these kids don't try is because they've already seen 100 other artists in their generation get by with it, and people are still buying their tickets.
So you just want to get by.
Yes, that's what they're doing.
Or you want to be on top.
How can they want to be on top? It looks like they're all sheep. I'm following a cookie cutter format that I seen 100 MCs do before me. They got paid off it. I'm gonna get paid off it quick too. That's what they're thinking. They're not thinking because I love hip hop so much, I'm gonna follow him and be just like him. No. Imagine there was 2 Rakims, 2 Big Daddy Kanes, someone's dying out here. No way. You're gonna be one of them brothers.
Yep.
But out here, they could be 100 of the same sounds because the audience allows it. If you don't buy those tickets to the concerts, you don't buy their albums, you're gonna be forced to change that format. It is what it is. But people are, I have to blame the masses. They like it, and it is what it is. So I don't really care for it too heavy, but it is what it is.
I blame the artists. Because you're not showing your best.
They're not artists at that point. Remember, they're entertainers. That's all they are. They're gimmicks for the minute. That's what it is.
Recording artists, like really what the word is.
Do you ever have someone come to your school and have, like, in your head, you're like, I think you're in the wrong place. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you mean in terms of,
you know what I mean? Like,
you mean like they need more mental health support? Is that what you're talking about?
It may not be mental health support. Just if you're coming to my school and you're just oblivious about what hip hop is, period.
Oh, you're talking about Path.
Correct.
Okay, Path specifically. Well, no, that's our responsibility. If they come to us knowing nothing, is to teach them.
Right.
Teach them.
Okay, I just want to make, because you know what I mean, though. Like,
absolutely. No, it's our goal. If you're coming to us to learn something, that's what we're here to share with you. But also, I think it's important to explain to young people, hip hop is just part of it. It's not everything.
Right.
It's not your whole life. It can't be everything.
Yeah, right.
There has to be a space for family, spirituality, work. But maybe your work maybe you're fortunate enough for your work to be hip hop.
Exactly.
But you have to have priorities right.
Right.
You have to have your priorities straight.
I like the way you broke it down. Yeah,
man.
That's most important.
I like the way you broke that down.
That's the only way you're gonna be able to live.
Yeah, for a long time I lived with hip hop first, and I got to a lot of the places I wanted to get to, but in the end, the things that I lost in retrospect weren't worth it.
That's,
time with family, for example, you can't gain that back. Where you can't get it back. So it's like,
you can't buy your kids back.
Right. Oh, I gotta get this album done. Did I really have to get it done at that time, at that night, or you know, what's one day? It's not like a label was really waiting on me.
That's what I said.
Eddie will say, I got the flyers, B. Well, you got to drop the joint. I didn't have the flyers.
I
King Sniper right here. I'm telling you, man. For real.
Don't worry, he was right. He was sniping with him the whole time. Trust that. Call him silent sniper, but he was there. I guarantee you.
No doubt.
Putting his work in for sure. And I'm glad that you were even before us, but we were around to see you in your generation and see us and ours, and just we're still here doing what we love. Like
it's a blessing.
And you know what I mean? Like it's trust me, people complain about a lot of stupid shit, man.
Yeah.
We blessed. You opened your eyes this morning. You are super blessed.
Amen.
So, and you got to hope you do it tomorrow. That's just what it is.
Yeah, man.
I would like if you could please I want the people to know all the names on how they can find Path, even you on Instagram, all your socials. Just give them your info. If there's anything else you want to plug, shout out to your lovely wife. She's so nice. My wife said, please tell her. I thought she was gonna be here. My wife's like, she's there. You better hit me. I'm like, I thought she was gonna be here. So to say hi to your wife, she's super awesome person too, just as you are. So your souls found each other because you guys are super dope people. So
to God be the glory, brother.
Yes, sir.
So you can find Path at Path to Hip Hop. That's at PATHTO Hip Hop. You can find me at Brimstone127 _. Yeah, that's
what you need.
I don't really get on social media too tough. I was on it for a minute and then I just realized.
Well, here's the thing is that in this generation, these kids is all social media. So if they want to reach you, let's say that someone heard this and was like, man, I'm kind of inspired by this dude because I'm listening to you and you're my boy and I'm inspired listening to everything you just said. Yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying? So someone who's oblivious and wants to learn, they should have felt a spark, said, how can I reach him? I'll go to Path or I'll go to Brim, 127, whichever it is. At least you gave out the info. It's not about if you're super heavy on it, but I'm sure if you see a message, someone says, how can I reach you? I'm sure you're humble enough to let them know the information. Yeah. And this is what's important. So the information is important. For you being on here was important to us.
Right, just to us.
You know what I mean? You're a pillar out here. And if no one told you before, we let you know. Super respect. Always, always. EFM, when we talk about EFM, says it all the time. You got to have Brimstone. Like, bro, nobody knows the text we go through. They don't know, Unfortunately, our Mondays wasn't working. And it came together today because God is good. This is what it is. Amen. So we appreciate you, bro. Keep doing what you're doing. We ain't gonna stop. I know you're not gonna stop. And anything you ever need, you already know. I've already been there for you in the past. I'm gonna be there for you in the future. So
much love, yo, man. Thank you very much for having me.
You already know, Brimstone. Listen, please. I don't want to. We've had.
Oh wait, I do have something I brought to show you.
Oh, facts, man.
Yeah. Let me go grab that. Can you grab that?
Yeah. For everyone who didn't know Brim before,
real quick, I'm gonna show you.
You're gonna know him now.
You got a photo album.
Oh, for those kids who don't know, this is a photo album. We used to take pictures out of the camera. I don't even know if that makes sense. Pictures out of the camera? That doesn't make sense either.
Old school IG.
We used to do, right, when we didn't have memory cards, you could only take 16 shots.
I'm going to show y'all first and you can show it to the camera.
Yeah.
That's me, 1997.
Look at this gangster right here. Look at this gangster. That's nuts-asaurus, kid.
Rocking the shirt. Okay.
That's nuts.
Okay,
original CHP crew.
That's nuts. That's hard. That's hard.
You see it?
Yeah, damn.
That's
hard.
A photo album, son.
That's hard.
You know what I mean? I got tons of flyers with Garcia's name on it. We used to, when we were doing the circuit, we were all doing the same stages.
Of course,
we were all doing the same clubs.
Of course. And now you know exactly why we wanted you here even more. For the same time, brother. You already know. Anything else you want to big up, or you Gucci?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah? We appreciate your time again, brother. I know your time is priceless, just like everyone else's. Anytime you need Crazy Hood, you already know. You want this platform for something, come on, you already know. It's your world. So.
Appreciate it, man.
You already know.
Peace.
Brimstone, Hannibal Heck, Eddie Gates, we gone.